Welcome back. Over 15 nightclubs were raided by officials of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board last month. The board explained that their action was prompted by the noise pollution generated by the facilities. Take a listen. These are some of the nightclubs raided by officials of the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency. When the exercise was carried out last month, several women were arrested. The arrests led to peaceful protests across the nation's capital. Clad in all black, the protesters allege that over 70 women were arrested in one day on the allegation of prostitution. They add that the ladies were raped while in the custody of the police.
You are supposed to be the ones protecting us, and you're raping us, you're beating us up, you're carrying us. You see us here, we are tired, and we are saying enough! Enough! The moment you have a voice, they call you a prostitute. The moment you refuse to be called, they call you a prostitute.
They take their protest to the FCT command of the Nigerian police.
Incidentally, the Commissioner of Police, Balachi Roma, has formed a high-powered delegation to investigate this matter.
It was a task force from FCT that came out to do their job, and they requested police to support them, which the police did, and the women were arrested and then charged, and they were convicted, which means they committed offense within the FCT territory. But the actions of the police officer that they were alleged to have raped and molested the women, that we've set up a panel to investigate, and anybody caught and proven to have done that will face the law.
6 days later, it appears nothing has been done, and the protesters took to the streets again while the raid on the nightclubs continue. This time there is a larger turnout. Lawyers and members of the civil society groups join them in the procession. They march to the main office of the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Women dancing and all of that, and then you went ahead, picked them up. What about the men? Where were the men?
Meanwhile, another set of protesters make their way to the National Human Rights Commission.
We are looking at the Office of the Vice President using its executive powers to issue a directive calling on all government agencies involved to immediately cease the raids, unlawful arrests, and gender-based violence against women on suspicion of sex work.
This kind of raid where you go to molest innocent citizens who have freedom of movement, who are in social environment like nightclubs, must stop. And if you must do so, it has to be in strict accordance with human rights.
In spite of the summon by the Human Rights Commission, the Federal Capital Territory authorities continue the raid and demolish one of the leisure parks earlier raided.
Because you want to kill a fly, and you go and use a sledgehammer, almost again. Now, this is the country we are trying to build. This is the country we want to make work. This is the country we have a lot of security problems, many problems in this country that needs to be solved. I am contributing to help solve that problem. At least over 100 direct labor employed. And I don't mind, it's a devil's workshop.
After failing to appear on the scheduled date, officials of the AEBP finally respond to the invitation of the National Human Rights Commission. While human rights activists insist that the raid and the arrests were illegal, the AEBP remain resolute that their action is within their mandate.
In some instances, these agents had even gone into those premises, private premises, to carry out these raids and to arrest and pick women. And women were brutally dragged out, beaten, and many were assaulted. In fact, we have cases of sexual violence, women being touched sexually inappropriately, examined inappropriately, and even allegations of rape.
I've been receiving so much letters and complaints from the residents of the city, that the noise level in the city generated by clubs, recreational centers, religious bodies is to the magnitude that the immediate residents of a particular originator of that noise to a radius of 50 meters or 500 meters do not sleep in their houses.
I take exception that these girls were violated. They were not. I did not say that. We even gave them out on bail. If we go around to see what is happening in the city, you discover that men are properly dressed. So when a man is properly dressed and he's moving, what do you have in stock with him? A woman will leave her hair open and wear close to no cloth, just a pint and a brassiere, walking. You think probably she is mental.
The Human Rights Commission, which is only serving a mediatory role, later had a closed-door meeting with the parties to discuss ways that will ensure the protection of the rights of residents in the FCT.